Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today our subject is Python variable defining and assignment. First, what are variables? A variable in Python is a named storage location in memory that holds a value. It acts like a labeled container where you can store data, in example, numbers, text, and retrieve or modify it later during program execution. Its purpose is storing data, improving readability, and enabling reusability. So you can reuse your variable later and so on. Variables are created when you assign a value to them. In Python, it's valid. Python does not require you to declare variables before using them, unlike some other languages. Variables can hold different kinds of values and can be reassigned as needed. So in order to define a variable, you give it a name and assign a value to it using the assignment operator, like this. This creates the variable in memory and binds it to the specific value. In example, let's say variable variable is equal to John in quotes. So it's a string variable, it holds a string data, and its value is John. So the data you want to store in the variable, it might be an integer like 100 or as a string as we seen before like John, and another thing like a floating point number like 4.5. It might differ according to your needs. Let's define multiple variables and see it in detail. Let's say name is equal to John and score is equal to 95. So I have defined two variables named name and score respectively, and their values are respectively again John and 95. Let's save and run this one and switch to variable explorer. We can see it clearly. The first one, the name variable, is equal to John and score is equal to 95. The type of the first variable is string. We will see types in the next video, and the type of the second variable is integer. So we have defined two variables and named them name and score respectively. Now let's print them. Print name and score. I separate by comma so it will be able to print both of them. Let's run it, and as you can see in the output, it's John and 95. Now let's talk about variable naming conventions. Python enforces strict rules for variable names to ensure valid syntax. Variable names must begin with a letter, lowercase a to z, or uppercase a to z, or an underscore. So your variable can begin with an underscore like variable is equal to 5. It's completely valid. Or it can start with a normal letter like this. After the first character, names can include letters, numbers, or underscores. So this one is valid too. And this one too. There are no problems with that. But if you start with a number like this, it's completely invalid. So it says invalid decimal literal and raises an error. It's not appropriate and it's not valid in Python. Also, there is Case sensitivity. Variable names are case sensitive, so score starting with an uppercase S and score starting with a lowercase s is not the same. So let's try it. Score is equal to 5 and score is equal to 10. Let's run and check on Variable Explorer. So there are two variables, the score variables, two different ones and with different values. Two different values are presented here. And you cannot use reserved keywords of Python like if, like for. As you can see, it's highlighted in purple color and you cannot use it there as variable names. So you cannot do that. Invalid syntax, it says, and it's forbidden. Now let's try other things, some other invalid variable names. As we have said before, you can start it with an underscore or a letter, but you cannot start with a number, but you can use numbers and underscores after the first letter. So if I try to define something like variable hyphen le, it's also invalid. Cannot use some special characters and most of the special characters in your variable name. So what are the best practices? Best practices can be used for simplicity and it will improve your code's readability. So let's say you have a student name. Let's say you have a student name. It's a command line, by the way. We will talk about that later. And let's say I define it at X and say John. It's not descriptive. So you can use something like student underscore and name. Use names that clearly indicate the variable's purpose. Instead of X, we have used student name, and we have also used snake case. We call that snake case. So for multi-word variable names, we use lowercase letters separated by underscores like that. We also used snake case for multi-word variables like this. And we should avoid single letters like E and G. You can use it for simple loop counters, otherwise use meaningful names. So you do not call score E or G because you won't understand what it means in the future. Be consistent. Stick to one naming style throughout your codebase. Always use snake case, or if you use other cases like camel case, you should stick to it. Avoid abbreviations. Use total score instead of tot underscore scr unless the abbreviation is widely understood, like total scr. What is it actually? Total screen or any other thing? No, if you mean total score, use total score. I always recommend that. Some poor variable names can be given as follows, like n is equal to Jane. What it actually is, a name or another thing. Yes is equal to 50, or x1 or condition 1 is equal to false. So what are these? I cannot decide easily, so please do not use them frequently and use meaningful names in your variables. Now let's see multiple assignments. We have used single assignments until there. But now we will use multiple assignments. The first case is assigning the same value to multiple variables. So let's say x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0, and z is equal to 0. And print them all. Let's print them. You run it, you can see 0, 0, and 0. Now I want to do this in one line. So I can write it like that. Python allows me to do that. X is equal to y is equal to z is equal to 0. And now let's print them again. And now they are still equal to 0. The second case is assigning different values to multiple variables. So you can also assign different values to multiple variables in one line. Let's say name, age, and city is equal to Bob, 30, and Chicago. Now let's print it. And we can see Bob, 30, and Chicago. This is ideal for initializing multiple variables with distinct values concisely. The number of variables must match the number of values or Python will raise an value error. So let's try this. Let's try this. Let's write 40 and try to run it. It raised value error and says too many values to unpack expected tree. So we are done. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Have a nice day.